Hey everyone, Mark from Coast to Country. Pretty exciting video this one. My electric motor for this little tinny has arrived. So that's pretty cool. Still waiting on the foot controller. This apparently is supposed to come with a mounting bracket, so I'd be interested to see if that's in there. But we'll quickly get this open and see what comes in there. So they may have packaged it up with it, or it could be on its way still with the freight truck, so we shall see. Oh yeah, cool. So it's got the bracket with it. That's awesome. Why is that side stuck? Okay, so we have got this unboxed. Pretty straightforward. Everything seems to be there. There's no damage that I can see from having it freighted around, half around the way it's around Australia. Comes with a sticker, which it's a sticker. Yep. Comes with a little fob. It's not too bad. That's a little propeller, 3-blader, little spanner tool thing to tighten that up. It's got the locking pin as well, which is handy. Won't work without that. Comes with a operator's book, or suggestion book I like to call them. It's got a checklist from the factory where they've ticked off what's everything that's supposed to work. This particular one came with a optional quick release bracket in nylon. That was part of this package deal I got, so they threw that in. There is aluminium ones of these available as well. So, oh, that's handy. It comes with all the bolts. That's very good. I thought I'd have to buy a lot of those. So yeah, there you go. Comes with some bolts. It's basically just, oh yeah, again, suggestion manual. Bit of nylon. It's quite heavy actually. It's pretty solid. So that's the locking pin that comes in, out. This bit bolts to your boat, which must be that way around, so it lifts off. So yeah, so that screws to the front of the bow. That screws to the motor, so we've got to take these side covers off and attach this to that. And that just drops straight in. Locking pin goes in, and there's a little clip that holds it and stops it coming out. I'm not sure, but I think you can padlock these as well, but we'll have to go into that. Yeah, so other than that, that's pretty much it. Hopefully, yeah, this should be awesome. This should change the whole way I fish for whiting. Normally I pull up to some little tight spots and you only fish for a couple of minutes. So normally you find your spot and then you've got to anchor away and then let the boat drift back to it. And then if you've got swell and current, your boat's moving everywhere. You're trying to throw it into the hole. This way with this anchor lock mode, which I'm pretty excited about, should be able to pull up right alongside of the hole, press the anchor lock and just literally fish the hole for, you know, a couple of minutes. If they're not there, you just move to the next hole. And the other cool part about this, I've got that jog function. So I'll explain a little bit of that. Obviously when we get it running, we'll show you the thing working. So this comes with a power cord with an Anderson plug. So if you've watched my other videos, you'll see that little boat we're doing up, we've wired it up for an Anderson plug anyway. So 50 amp Anderson plug. That can go to a battery if you hadn't already wired it. I may even shorten this yet and resolder the Anderson plug a lot shorter. The shorter the cable, the better generally. I'm not sure how that's going to affect my warranty though, so I might just wait before I do that. Another thing, after the warranty runs out, if I find this motor's sticking up for miles on the front of my boat, because it's only like a short nose from the water, once the warranty runs out, I'll probably end up trimming this shaft down and then moving the motor head down, making it smaller. I may do that. I'm not sure. If I ever put this on a bigger boat, well then that's going to bugger that up. So anyway, what else are we doing? So we've got a couple of control leads. One's for your foot controller, which I've ordered, and that's on its way as well from a different company from Australia. And this is where I'm going to plug in that nav sensor. If you watch the previous video, you'll see me mounting that navigation sensor at the stern of the boat. That gives it a lot more accuracy, plus it also gives you the jog function for this motor as well. So yeah, that's cool. If you had an older Watersnake, like I said before, with that navigation sensor, it came with a Y piece. So these only had one lead where your foot controller goes. So you'd plug your Y connector in from the navigation sensor, one into the foot controller, one into the sensor. So, but luckily we don't have to do that. Other than that, yeah, it should be good. This is obviously the controller. I had one of these once before, a really older version, which was just a tiller control on the front of a little boat. It was a 3.9 metre boat instead of this other one I've got now is 4 metre. That was great for just weaving the boat in between really shallow reefs. Like you'd find a crack in the reef and run the run the head of the electric motor down the cracks and it'd drag the rest of the boat over the reef in really shallow water. I'm not sure how quick this left and right function is going to be on this compared to just quickly moving a tiller, but we'll soon find out, and we'll nurse it a bit and look after it, make sure everything's all good. Yeah, anyway, let's get this mounted and see what happens. Looks cool. Okay, first thing we need to do is mount this mounting bracket underneath here. So we need to take the side covers off. I've just got this sitting on a trestle. It's plastic, so it's not going to scratch anything. So a couple of Phillips head screws in here. Take these out. So that gives us access to this plate. It's fairly solid. So just got to make sure that when that's mounted on the bow, that sits on top. So therefore that flips around that way onto the motor like so. It's got pre-drilled holes everywhere, so it makes life pretty easy. We've got a heap of screws here, so let's see what we got. So let's go the short ones, and we've got washers as well. So it looks like there's plenty of washers, so we'll put a washer underneath the Allen key head, through the plate, a washer on the end of that, and a lock nut. So we'll get into that and do them up nice and tight. So all I'm simply doing here is getting the mounting brackets, bolts that come with this bracket, putting a washer on, threading it up through underneath, another washer on the top, and a lock nut. Goes straight onto there. So I've put all 6 in. I've got them all loose at the moment. Try and find a spinner. Got our Allen key on the other side. And what I'll do now is I'll just line up this bracket exactly the same each side, and then we'll tighten all 6 of these nuts and bolts down. So what I've done, I've made sure this is nice and parallel to each side of the motor. This is the side I need the clip to go, because the bar that locks everything in hangs over the anchor well, so that's the only way I can get it in. So that's the side that clip has to go. So it's just a matter of putting this bolt through there. There's a hole in where the clip is. Put our washer on the other side. And we'll tighten that up. Right, I've got this side all tightened up nice. We'll just put this cover back on. It's just a matter of dropping it straight over where it came from. Tightening up the 2 side screws. So far it's pretty straightforward. Right, we'll do the same with the other side. Alright, so we've tightened down the other side. We'll just put this other cover back on now. Right, all our 6 screws are all done up nice and tight. I've pushed this one right through. Basically at the end of the day, at the end of this hole where it's countersunk, there's a slot there, which is for whichever side you want this locking tab to go. That bit of plastic is literally paper thin, and it was at the bottom, so you'd have to be careful that you don't screw the head of the bolt up to this, because that would be all that's holding it. So rip them out, put a decent washer behind there, that's pulled in. This particular locking mechanism here, because it's tapered at the end, I've put an extra washer in on the other side which centres this locking tab. It's a bit hard to see, but I've centred it there. So anyway, when we put our piece on that bolts to the boat, that drops in like that, and our locking pin comes in from the top, or the side I should say. When that locks in, it's actually perfectly in line now, whereas before this was angled out because that was tapered and it's a bit of a weird setup, but anyway, it locks in there now, no worries. So we're going to get this mounted onto the boat. Alright, so we've got this sitting on the front of the boat, just roughly like that. I need to bring it forward a little bit to have this shaft clear the gunnel of the boat. So I'll drag that forward a little bit in a minute. There's a tiny gap under here where the gunnel sits up and underneath there. So what I'll do is I'll put another little thin sheet of nylon underneath that, square all this up with the lip on the gunnel, and then I'll mount it exactly. Also, the other thing I want to do is angle this back when it's folded down, angle the head unit back towards this seat so it's out of the road and not sticking in the back of the seat. So we'll do that as well. Right, so pretty much worked out where this has got to go. That's kind of where it's going to mount on the front here. I've got it at a bit of an angle back. I still need to put a packer on it. We've got plenty of clearance under here, just missing the gunnel, only just, but enough. Put a little mark here with some texture so it would clear that. Put another mark here so we can angle it to miss things when that folds right back. The head of this sits inside the gunnel, so we can't get it knocked off at a landing or a wharf or something like that. The thing that's really going to annoy me is the seat's going to hit it for sure, no matter which way I put that. So that's probably going to be a pain. Once we're fishing, it won't matter. Someone can sit there, we can have the motor upright. So what I've done here, I've marked out an old chopping board. That's all we had in the shed, and it's fine, no one will see it anyway. We'll Sikaflex this on later. The thickness of that chopping board is very close to the thickness of this gunnel, so that'll give us our mounting plate. I've marked it out where it had to go. Just temporary sticky tape that down so it can't move around on us when I drop the motor on to do a final measurement. Then what we'll do is we'll have this mounting block, quick release block, mounted up in here somewhere. So the next step to do is drop the whole motor onto that, line it up exactly where we want it, and then lift it up nice and gently, and this block will be left wherever it's lined up to where it needs to be, and then we can drill some holes through there, glue this board on properly and mount this bracket, and then the motor should just drop straight onto it. Alright, so there she is. She's all mounted. I ended up putting a nylon chopping block, which you saw underneath. Just gave that extra little bit of lip to line up with the gunnel there. It's a bit of a squeeze. It's going to be a lot of weight at the front of this boat. That's quite a heavy motor. It's the smallest one I could get with GPS. So that plus the battery, it's going to be very nose heavy, this boat. But anyway, so you can see it there. It's got a little bit of room down the side there. Not too bad. I've got one more bolt I've got to put through this mounting board later, which actually goes through there, and it'll come out through the gunnel. So I didn't have them long enough. I've got a spacer under there, which I'll sort out properly later. So other than that, it's all nice and flat. It's actually nice, straight up and down square. It's almost like plumb, so that's good. Definitely plumb the other way as well. So, right, we'll put some connectors on here, power it up. What I'll probably do is leave this, this is a sat nav or whatever it is. I'll leave that cable up the front, hidden away up there. I won't shorten this yet, this plug, until I actually give it a test run at least once, make sure everything's okay. Because for some reason there is something faulty with it and I've got to send it back. I'll mess around with the plug later. Again, when it folds up, it hits the seat, so when the warranty runs out, I'll work out what depth of shaft I need into the water, and then whatever's left I'll trim this back. I'll just cut it off wherever and have the head unit just sitting lower, because I don't need it way up there. And that'll give me heaps of room then when it folds back. The head unit will be just behind the front of the boat there and not digging into the seat back here. So anyway, we'll get some power onto it and see what it's like. Right, here's our little remote that comes with it. We'll whack some batteries in it, and then we'll fire up this, put power on this Watersnake motor and see if we can get some life out of it. Ah, it's already got batteries. Why is that not working? Whoop. I haven't really tried the buttons on this. I just pressed one once, assuming there'd be no batteries in there, so I think you got to hold them down actually, so let's do that. Oh well, that's good, they supply them, so I'll definitely take some spare batteries with me and a little screwdriver to change them if I need to. I'm not sure how long these remotes go for. I'd say quite a while, but so I'm assuming you just hold this down then. Oh, that was easy. Alright, cool, so it's got batteries. turn this off. Assume you hold it down. Should read the instructions. There you go. All right, well, let's get some power into this thing and see if the motor works. It's a weird looking cable. Looks like it's half melted, but it's just a rubbery sort of cable. Pretty heavy duty cable, but yeah. This is our nav sensor that we put in. That's the end of that. I've tucked up the excess just under the front there, and I'll tidy all that up later once we know this motor's okay. So we've got two spots where you can plug in here, like I mentioned earlier. One's for the foot control, one's for the nav sensor. So we'll just take one of these off. Doesn't matter which one you use. Plug in our sensor. Make sure we get the thing lined up properly, like so. There's a little rubber seal under there, which is quite a good little feature. So that's our nav sensor hooked up. Our foot pedal hasn't arrived yet. That's still coming. So that's pretty much that. Anderson plug up under here. Got the isolator off at the moment. So there's our Anderson plug plugged in. Hopefully all the smoke stays inside the electronics of this motor and doesn't come out, because once you've done that, they don't seem to work anymore. Righto, let's give it a fire up. So we'll click our power switch over to number 1. So I'll turn him on here. Oh, she all lights up, so that's a bonus. I really should read the book. Oh, it comes up with voltage here as well, 12.4 volts, that's handy. No GPS fix, which I'm not expecting it to because I'm in a metal shed. I could drag it out a bit, I guess, but I just want to see if it even powers up. So, nothing's in the road where the motor is, so we'll just hit that, and then I'm assuming you just go up a bit. Oh yeah, she's off. Hit it again to turn it off. So we'll come around here. I haven't got the propeller on it yet. So, like I said, I haven't read the book yet, so we're just having a play. So, there she goes. It looks like it's wobbling only because the black thing on the end there is just a bit of rubber. Oh, right, she hooks along. That's only on 3. Alright, so we'll just stop that. For a second, we'll just go left and right. Oh, that's cool. Nice. I'll read the book and we'll have a play with this. We'll get it out of the shed, get a GPS lock. Although it seems to say that it's locked on GPS already, so that's a good thing. So we'll put this propeller on. Just comes with a little protective cap. Take that off. What I will do is give it a quick hit with spray grease just on the end of that shaft, just so I can make a big mess. Alright, so here's our prop. So it comes with a little pin in the back here. It's just a pin for goes through the shaft. We've got our nut on the back here. This is all pretty standard stuff. So sharp little suckers. So I'll put our pin on, I'll rotate that around a little bit so it won't fall out on me. Put it on like that. Don't know if this is left or right hand thread. It's right handed, so there you go. Comes with a little tightening lug here. So not sure how tight you're supposed to do it. Just nice and firm, I'd say. Unless you do it till you hear a big crack and then back it off half a turn. That's pretty tight. She's a pretty lumpy motor. She's got a good magnet in it. So, looks like it's running pretty true. It's not rubbing anywhere, so the shaft's not bent. Okay. Blowfly just came into the shed. I'm a bit gun shy at the moment. I got hammered with bees the other day, and every time I hear a fly or something, I'm thinking, oh, what's that? Go check that video out. That's interesting. Got 40 bee stings and survived, but yeah, anyway, that's another story. All right, look, thanks for watching, guys. That's it for this video. We'll get this out of the shed, fire it up with GPS. We'll get it in the water, that'll be even better, and we'll see how it goes. So appreciate you watching. Hit the thumbs up if you can, hit subscribe if you haven't already, that helps us out a lot, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.